Hey, and welcome to Truth, Health, and Wellness with Matt and Deborah St. John. We are excited to have you join us today. Don't forget, we are live, so if you do have any questions, please call in at any time. There will be a number on your screen, or on Facebook. You can message those in. So, Matt and Deborah, tell us how your week's been and what you've been seeing out there.
It's been a good week. It's been pretty busy. I know a lot of Happy Now has flown off the shelf this week. A whole lot of Happy Now, yeah.
Which is indicative of anxiety, stress. You know, I think coming off of the holidays, people are kind of like easing into their lives in 2024, and then also waking up and saying, "Oh my goodness, it's 2024. This is going to be a wild year." From election year, a lot of things going on in our economy, a lot of odd viruses, and a lot of sicknesses going around right now. And a lot of concern about future viruses, even disease X, which is the new virus, possibly virus. They don't actually know what it is. But they're excited about being prepared for it, which means they know more than we do. So it's pretty cool, really, to see so many people right now choosing natural medicine. People like looking our direction who haven't before, just because of the people that have referred them, into natural medicine. I mean, that's the best form of endorsement that a person can get about anything is to actually have people try something, have success, and then tell others. But when they've tried things that have failed over and over again, and then they try something that works, well, then that's super exciting. So we're having a lot of that these days, and it being at the end of January, we're almost into February.
Yeah, and it's already flying by.
Right,
Yeah.
and speaking of flying, we've already booked our tickets to go back to the Amazon, so we're super excited about that. So we're getting preparations made to go back to St. John's Amazon Wellness,
and we actually take donations at St. John's. So we are going back in March. It's March the 4th we leave. So if anyone has anything, shoes, used shoes, clothes, summer stuff, swimsuits, anything that you don't need anymore, you can just drop them by St. John's, and we give a 20% discount when you bring a bag of clothes in.
The Peruvian government is kind of interesting. They actually forbid you bringing used clothes into Peru, other than your own personal clothes.
Oh wow!
So we just say, hey, my weight fluctuates, my foot size fluctuates. These are all our clothes. No, we don't say that. We just bring them anyway. And of course, none of their customs officers cares if you're bringing clothes to help the villagers. So we always get them right through customs, and we bring normally about 80 extra pounds of things like sandals and summer clothes. Things that we would wear during the summer is what they wear all year long. And they love American sports. They love soccer. They love anything that has to do with sports and just anything American, really. They kind of like to have it on their shirts when they go out and about the village. So we love getting things like that. But if anyone has anything like that, also little electronic games, things like
just
that.
Little things, little toys.
Things that are lightweight, because we actually have to carry all this stuff. So we normally bring like 4 to 6 bags that we check and bring on the airplanes. But it's so wonderful. We take it out to the villagers, and they have this covered building in Santa Ana, and it's an open air building, but it's basically an awning. So there's this awning there, and so we lay it out like it's like a trade day or something, like
flea market,
and then they just go, and it's wonderful. Little really kids are so excited, and it's really neat.
I can't imagine. I bet it's like just
like Christmas
for them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're ecstatic, and the thing though that we really like to focus on is these are not pitiful, needy people. We don't consider these people ignorant. We don't consider them needy. We don't consider ourselves to be anything superior. No, they're superior to us, trust me. To me, if you have clean water, a roof over your head, healthy food, and love, then you have a really good life. And so they have all that. They can, at 5:30 in the afternoon, after they get through working in the fields or whatever they're doing, they can go throw a net in the Amazon and bring back dinner very easily. And then they go pick a few things off the trees, and we watch it happen every time we go. And so that's their lifestyle. They're very, I don't even know there's a refrigerator in the entire village.
I don't think so.
They're pushing us to get a refrigerator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because obviously everybody wants to use our refrigerator. But anyway, but it's really neat though, because they have so much to teach us. They have so much to offer us in their medicines, and they've been doing it since the first time we traveled there.
Oh yeah.
They've just opened up their whole world, their village, their lives, their homes. They just have us right into their homes. Of course, parakeets and spiders and monkeys also go into their homes too. So I figure what's a few gringos. But anyway, it's really neat though the way they accepted us and started teaching us and taking us and just just opening everything up, allowing us to video. I said video. Yeah. Well, video's right.
Well, yeah.
I normally say videotape, and my kids make fun of me. They're like, "Dad, you're Gen X." So, but we record, and they allow us to record it, even the shaman and stuff. So it's really cool. Anyway, we're going back, and we're super excited about all that. So we've had some good news this week, and some things come together that's really cool.
It's been really cold this week too.
And not to mention, and that's caused a lot of interesting health issues with people.
What have you been seeing with that coming?
Circulation issues.
Really?
People, when you have extreme cold like that, it'll affect your cardiovascular system first and foremost. We know of a few people. How many people did we hear when we went to Alaska? We went to Alaska a few years ago, and we were really talking to the locals, and we were really trying to figure out. And we met this super sweet lady at this one store, and basically she said that her husband, who was like 60, they had retired, moved up to Alaska, and within a year he was dead. He died of a heart attack. And we met
That wasn't the first one we heard about.
2 or 3 other people that had moved to Alaska from the lower 48 and as full-timers. I'm not talking about the people like us who go in the summer and pretend we're Alaskans, or whatever. I'm talking about people who actually live there during the entire winter. But it's very hard on the cardiovascular system. Think about what the cold does. Think about what it does to the fluids in your automobile. And then think about us as humans. We don't have antifreeze. Well, some people actually do have antifreeze. It's called propylene glycol. Some of you guys have just hit a vape a little while ago, and that you actually got some propylene glycol in your system. So congratulations, you do have antifreeze in your system, but most people don't. And so not having coolant to keep us warm, our body has a metabolism, but our metabolisms aren't always right. Our thyroid, our hypothalamus, our pancreas, all of our organs and glands, work together to sort of create our metabolism, and that gives us our body heat. But some people aren't warm all the time. Think about how many people are listening right now that have cold hands and feet, and they've been experiencing that a lot during the last week of this weather that we've had. Well, if you've been having cold hands and feet during this winter, and especially on a regular basis, then you have probably, a need to look into your circulatory system and to look at your circulation and your blood flow. So we like to look at that as we get into the winter, because it can, the change in the seasons can actually tell us a lot about our condition. People have arthritis, bursitis, and all these types of little itises and inflammatory issues that are happening with their joints and everything. A lot of that gets worse when these fronts come through.
What can they take, and what does it do to help?
Well, the main thing is improving circulation. There are several things. We talked about beetroot, increasing the nitric oxide. It does it very quickly, and that helps to open up and dilate the arteries and the veins, and it helps with blood flow and circulation throughout the body. It'll drop blood pressure normally, or regulate blood pressure within 5 minutes for a lot of people when they drink beetroot juice or they take the formulas that have beetroot. Also, L-arginine and L-ornithine, the amino acids, can do that.
Cayenne.
But other than that, cayenne. Cayenne we've just recently gotten back into a little bit, because it kind of is hard on your stomach if you take it in capsule form, but you can take it in tincture form. You can actually take it in tea form. But there's a lot of literature. The first course that I took in natural medicine was the School of Natural Healing, which is a John R. Christopher course. And in some of the books, it had just chapter after chapter where he was treating people who had literally had a heart attack, and he completely got them back with cayenne pepper. Tommy Bass, the herbalist in Leesburg, Alabama, used cayenne pepper on a regular basis when he would have a heart attack. Tommy Bass, once again, look him up, Tommie Bass, B-A-S-S. He was a charming folk herbalist from Leesburg, Alabama, who passed away in 1996, and he was the first man that got me into this whole thing. He was my first mentor, and Tommy was amazing. He was just an awesome Christian gentleman. Super simple though. So he kept cayenne capsules in his pocket in a little bag. And actually, I saw someone today that came in and had a little bit of cayenne pepper in a little vial that they keep in their pocket all the time. And they say if it's not for them, it's for someone else.
Yeah, that's smart.
That was my neighbor Ray.
So it's almost
hey,
like
Ray.
the little pills they used to send my grandma around in a little thing with. That's the cayenne.
Well,
like nitro, yeah.
Like they do with nitro, but this is cayenne. And with the cayenne, it has such a stimulant to the cardiovascular system that it can actually just give you almost like a jump start.
Someone completely unconscious from a issue, heart attack, whatever, you can dump it in their mouth, down an unconscious person's throat, and it has brought them back.
Yeah. Wow.
There's testimonials, there's reports, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so,
I'm blown away.
And even better would be to take like an alcohol tincture, a liquid tincture of the cayenne, to be able to have it on hand. But cayenne's really good, even in the tincture form, just for helping with circulation of the hands and feet. To the extremities, and to help with that cold hands, cold feet that a lot of people get. A lot of people's rear ends get cold and so forth, and it's just because of the, how your body's designed and how your blood flow is. But it's really important to keep that circulation going. There's so many botanicals that God gave us that helps that circulation, and also drinking plenty of water. Not clogging your body up with a bunch of chemicals and that sort of thing also makes a big difference.
Moving too,
Activity.
Keep yourself moving.
Yeah. If you're stagnant and, for example, like in the wintertime, and all you do is, get out of your house and you hop in your car and you drive to work and you sit the entire time at work, and then you get in your car and you drive all the way back home and you sit the entire time you're at home, you're going to have to do something about that.
Yeah.
That's not a lifestyle that over months and months and years is going to do anything positive for you. You have to incorporate the type of exercise into your lifestyle that you're not. Like, I had a UPS man one time. He comes to me, he's like, how do I need to work out? Do I need to, get on the treadmill more? Do I need to do this more? I'm like, no, you're a UPS man.
Right.
You are very active. You work, you lift, you're on your feet, you're in and out of trucks, and I said, all you need to do is basically resistance exercise. Focus on heavy resistance exercise, getting plenty of protein, because they're getting cardio all day long. So, that person doesn't have the same dietary needs as a person who's over here at secretary at the courthouse. Who's breathing in mold and dealing with people all day long, but sitting down rather than standing up. So there's obviously different people, and different people have different needs. Yeah.
Well, for all our viewers out there, again, if you have any questions, there is a number on your screen. Give us a call. We'll have Matt and Deborah answer those, as well as you can send any questions in through Facebook Live, and we will also let them know those. But you mentioned tea earlier, so we do have a question from someone. What is yellow root tea, and what do you use it for?
Wow, yellow root. Yellow root is an indigenous plant found locally on the creek banks. We have one person who we can depend on to harvest our yellow root on a regular basis for St. John's Nutrition, and he's 85 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so we pray for his health very often. Of course, he drinks a lot of yellow root. But yellow root's really interesting. Tommy Bass, actually the only printed information that we have about yellow root is in the Peterson Field Guide, the Eastern Peterson Field Guide. And that field guide actually references Tommy Bass in the conversation about yellow root, and talks about how Tommy used yellow root for stomach ulcers, for stomach problems, gastric issues, for pancreatic issues, for glucose, for blood sugar, and for arthritis and inflammatory conditions. And that's the main reason most people take yellow root. I've noticed it seems like they want to come in to get sometimes pass a drug test with it or something like that. That's another story. But
what is a blood cleanser?
Because it cleanses. It does such a good job of cleansing. And for us, we use yellow root, especially against H. pylori, stomach ulcers. It's so good for stomach ulcers because it has this really cool constituent called berberine. Now, berberine is like this new cool, it's like the newest thing in natural medicine, and it's very hard to get berberine, except we can get it obviously from yellow root. And it's neat because they call it yellow root. First of all, you don't use the root, so that makes sense, right? You actually take the stem for the plant, and you make sure it's yellow by slicing a little bit, and it's just as yellow as anything can be. As soon as you slice off a little bit of the bark, you can see clearly how yellow it is. You chop it off above the root, far above the root. Don't take the roots, because then it'll grow back, obviously, if you leave the roots, and you'll have more yellow root. And so you, once again, find it by the creek bank, harvest it, dry the sticks, and then cut them into sticks. Basically, they'll do little bundles. And so we get them in bundles, and those bundles you make a tea out of. And we also have the tea. We prepare the tea there at St. John's, and we have it for people already made. Sorry, folks, it does not taste good. It's not like a Celestial Seasonings.
It's like beet juice.
I don't know if it's better or worse than beet juice.
Very different.
Beet juice tastes like bloody dirt, and yellow root tastes like bitter herbs, and so it's very bitter. I will tell you a secret, though, and a little bit of coffee will completely knock out the taste of yellow root. I mean, you can literally drink yellow root, take a big old 2-4 ounce shot of yellow root, and just take some coffee and take one little sip, and it's gone.
Knocks that bitterness down.
Knocks the bitterness out. The tannins in the coffee are just really, really heavy, so they take over. But yellow root's wonderful, and it's something that's really indigenous to northeastern Alabama, and to a lot of the listening area or viewing area, to what we're doing here. And it's really cool too, because it's inexpensive, it's easy to harvest. You can't get much easier than being able to just chop it above the root and not even have to dig the root, We had someone one time come by and try to deliver us a bunch of yellow root, and they'd found some, and they were just ripping the roots up, and I never bought from them again because they were not being very ethical in the way that they did business or dealt with the plants. And we like to deal with people, just like in the Amazon. If you go down there disrespecting plants or God, they'll send you back, or you might just end up in the bottom of the Amazon. And when we go there, they know that we love the plants and we love what they're doing. So it's really cool.
Okay. Well, we just had someone call in asking about what to do for carbon monoxide in the house.
Okay. Well, that's what I was phasing out on I was drifting on my last sentence because I looked down and I saw carbon monoxide.
I was writing a note.
I'm thinking, well, if they got it too bad, then I'm surprised they were able to call in. If you have carbon monoxide in your house, first off, make sure you have a good carbon monoxide detector. A lot of people disable those in their RVs and stuff like that. We do a lot of RV travel, and so we're very familiar with all that. But carbon monoxide is a silent and odorless killer that will get you. I don't know why you have carbon monoxide in your home, other than maybe you have a garage and you might let your vehicles warm up in the garage. Let me give you a hint there. Make sure to open your garage and back your car out a couple of feet so that the exhaust is shooting out of your, not coming into your home if you have a built-in garage to your house. Otherwise, detoxifying your lungs. That's going to be very important. If you've survived carbon monoxide poisoning, you might actually have some scar tissue or lung damage. And with that, I would recommend things like lobelia, mullein. Mullein's a great herb for pulmonary issues. There's also a formula called Cell Food. Cell Food's a really neat combination. It's a liquid oxygen formula that also has branched chain amino acids and also, I always forget the other, liquid oxygen, branched chain amino acids, and colloidal minerals. But it's really good for the pulmonary. And a lot of people, actually, Teresa at St. John's, that's one of the formulas that was so effective for her that actually brought her into the wellness field. But it's a really good formula. A lot of people who are asthmatic use it, but it's good to use like the Cell Food, along with pulmonary cleansers like the lobelia, the mullein, fenugreek, and thyme are really good to help. Marshmallow, these are herbs that can help. And you can get combinations of those botanicals that can be in a special formula that can help. Bronchial formulas, lung formulas, those are out there. We have several. Breathes, several different things that people can take that do a really good job of that. But yeah, carbon monoxide is not it's a serious thing.
I would get it out of the house as fast as possible, because that's very dangerous.
Well, either it needs to get out of the house or you do.
Well, again, anyone out there, if you do have questions, you can call in on the number they'll put on your screen momentarily, or you can send them in via Facebook Live. Next up, can you tell me how the foot detox bath gets toxins out through your feet?
Oh, yeah, I can. Well, they don't. That's the fastest answer ever. Okay, so I want just visualize with me, folks, right? Imagine the anatomy chart, right? You have your stomach, and you have your cardiovascular system, and you have your nerves, and you have your muscles, and you have your feet. Now let's look all the way down to your feet. Now, what pathway exactly does your body use to eliminate liver problems, to take liver toxins, right? And to eliminate those from your feet? You ever seen the pathway that leads from your liver to your toes? I haven't. There is no pathway to send toxins. When you have toxins, they go out a few different ways. Toxins go out of your urine, they go out of your fecal matter, they come out of your sweat, and it comes out of your nasal passages. And it comes out of your saliva. Of course, that's not normally toxins that are coming out of your saliva. But with that said, we have body fluids, but there's nothing that will help your pancreas per se, or your liver, or your gallbladder. Your gallbladder's not going to send its stones straight down through your feet. But people say this. So let me tell you a story. I had a young lady about, 10, 15 years ago who said, I want to do foot detoxes at St. John's Nutrition. And I said, cool, I haven't really looked into those. And she said, well, I'd like to do one for you and show you how effective it is. And I said, okay. So then I went and researched it. And I researched it and kind of got a little depressed because I was sort of excited about her coming in. We even had painted this room. It was a nice little office. And she comes in and she brings the thing, right? So she brings this foot bath. By the way, foot baths are wonderful. And doing foot baths can help your body, and they can help to better your body and your health. But we're not talking, this is not what I'm talking about. These people are saying some pretty incredible things. They're saying they're going to detoxify your body. They're going to get toxins out of your liver. They're going to get toxins out of your gallbladder. Your gallstones are going to be removed straight out of the bottom of your feet. It's crazy. But people believe it. And unfortunately, I'm sorry if I'm offending you if this is something new to you, but research it. And if you have any questions, holler at us at St. John's. But so she brings out the foot bath, right? And then she pours some salt in it, Epsom salts. I thought, okay, that's, salt, foot bath, that's normal. And then she says, I'm going to put these 2 diodes in it. So she puts these diodes in the foot bath, and she says, I'm going to leave this here, leave your feet in it, and I'm going to leave this here, and we're going to stay in here for 30 minutes. You're new, so 30 minutes is as long as you can do it, right? So I'm thinking, wow, if I do it for more than 30, I might pass out and die. So it's intense. So I put my feet in this foot bath, and she leaves. And I thought, I took my feet out of the foot bath, right?
Right.
We had a timer. So I sat there for 25 minutes, fiddling with my phone with my feet out of the foot bath while I was watching the water get increasingly dirty. It was getting worse and worse, and my goodness, by the time it was over, by the time she came back into the room, when I put my foot quickly back into the thing, pretending, of course, that it had been in there the whole time, the water is green and it has bubbles. I mean, it looks gross. It looks like something has really, happened. And it did. It's called oxidation. It's what happens when water, salt, and electricity get together. It's called oxidation, and it forms at the top of the water. So she comes in there, and I said, "What's going on?" She's like, "Oh my goodness, your liver." And so she's telling me about how many. Look at all the green is liver. I said, "My liver is in that bad a shape." She goes, "It must be." I'm like, "Wow, I didn't even realize I drank." And so, or anything, and so it must be, must be from way back. And then she's like, "And you have gallstones too." I said, "Really?" She goes, "Well, you eliminated a few of them, so there's my gallstones were in there too, even though my feet had only been in there for 30 seconds." And so I finally tell her, I explained to her, by the way, I took my feet out of the foot bath, and for 25 minutes I've been sitting here fiddling with my phone, and she gets mad at me. But she didn't have a whole lot else to say, because everything she was doing was a scam.
Right.
Now, whether or not she believed in it prior to that, I don't know. Why not try it yourself?
Yeah.
If you're oxidizing water and turning it into a swamp, then maybe you should see if that happens without your feet actually being in it. So once again, if you want to try the detox foot baths, I would recommend that you tell the person that you're going to use it, sit down, don't put your feet in it, let them think you did, and then let them explain to you what didn't happen, so that you can understand that they're liars and that they're ripping you off, and that would help out. Because it upsets me when we have things like that in the natural health field. We're frequent on quackwatch.org. Most of our friends are medical doctors and not naturopathic doctors, because we're so conservative and so careful, and we believe in clinical studies. We believe in looking at and referencing clinical studies before we recommend anything. And then if the clinicals aren't there, then we have to use historic reference and that sort of thing. But it's amazing how many clinicals you have now on natural supplements, on herbs, on botanicals that weren't here even 2 or 3 years ago, especially on things for COVID and that sort of thing. So, but yeah, they don't work.
Well, with that, there's a couple of questions here. One, you did mention some foot baths that were actually good. What do you recommend putting in those that are just to help?
Basically, just essential oils, lavender. You can use obviously Epsom salts help with drawing and helping with several things. But hot and cold foot baths, that can be very therapeutic. Actually, hot and cold showers. There's a book called The Herb Book. Is it The Herb Book by Jethro Kloss? No, it's called, I forget the name of it. Back to Eden.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Back to Eden. Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss. In Back to Eden, he goes over a lot of detail about how effective hot and cold baths were. And they used to use hot and cold baths, doctors did, until it became a little inconvenient to have people bathing in your doctor's office. It was easier just to peddle a Rockefeller pill and get them in and out. So, but it's really neat. That's a neat book to get.
And like the ice baths now that I'm seeing all on TikTok and all this younger stuff with that.
Yeah, I was down in Destin, and it was ultra trendy. It was like about 10 years ago. I was down there. I guess that was actually probably about 12 years ago. And I went to one of those chambers where you get in. Cryo chambers, yeah. And then some Russian girls froze me, and they were from Russia. I thought it was really interesting. And I thought it was neat. Shocking your body does really do some positive things to your endocrine system. Your hormones can get jump started. Even taking in the morning when you're having a hot shower, like it's cold outside, you get in the shower, you're cold in your house even a little bit, you're taking a hot shower, right? Because it feels wonderful. Well, at the end of that hot shower, if you'll turn it cold and just literally blast yourself with the cold water, it actually is good for you. It'll help to detoxify your body, it helps with your skin, it helps with your pores, it helps with your brain, and it helps with your hormones. So I mean, you can have hormonal issues and take a hot to cold shower.
Wakes you up too, I guess.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's, she hears me screaming, every morning. Oh, Matt's through the shower.
Well, another question someone had while we were talking about the feet and the foot baths and things, what about rubbing an onion or potato or putting it in your sock when you're sick and it kind of,
there's some wild ones. My favorite one is the bar of soap under the covers for restless leg syndrome. Mm-hmm. Yep, you ever heard about that one?
I thought it was going to be to clean somebody's mouth though.
Okay. Nope. And I've probably had 20 people tell me that it worked. At least 20 people. I had people calling on radio stations up in Tennessee, up in the Smoky Mountains, up in Knoxville, and just going on and on because I laughed at someone who said something about putting the bar of soap. People were calling me to bless me out, to let me know that I didn't know what I was talking about.
But it does work.
Because the bar of soap under the, now, folks, I don't know how a bar of soap under your bed, under your covers, could possibly help with your restless leg syndrome or your leg cramps. I know that magnesium can be quite a blessing for those issues, and most people who use magnesium do very well. But I swear I've had at least 20 people. We've had people since we've been, in the past 7 or 8 years. Yeah.
But as far as the onion and the potato, I mean, things are, they do cross over through your skin.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever is in the onion or the potato, the starches, whatever.
The allicin that's in the garlic, the constituents that are in the onion and the garlic are antibiotic.
And it helps with colds and stuff, is what they were asking.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people will take an onion, cut an onion, half it, a juicy onion, and they'll stick it right on their navel, on their belly button, and they'll just let it sit on their belly button, and they'll say that it helps them tremendously. Of course, you could also just juice the onion and drink it, but a lot of people don't like the taste
like
of
onion soup and stuff, that kind of thing is good for that. But your belly button, was a direct link to your blood when you were born, connected to your mom. So we have been talking about belly buttons a lot in how, there's got to be something about it.
Transdermal delivery in the abdomen, I think, it can be a positive thing for people who, don't have too much between their belly button and maybe their internal organs, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it can. There are many people that there's so many folk remedies. I was actually at AutoZone, which didn't have belt dressing for some reason. They said it'd been out of it for a month, and so they were like, "Well, WD-40 will work." And I laughed and I said, "Well, people use it for their joints too." And before I knew it, somebody from the other side of the whole store said, "What's that about WD-40 for the joints?" And it was another employee. And now I'm like, no, I just said they use it for their joints. I'm not recommending it. Does it work? Well, it must for them, but
I would
it does.
not recommend it.
That guy's seriously tonight, right now, he's hosing himself down with WD-40. His wife's cussing him. But anyway, I'm not recommending WD-40 or soap under your. Actually, the soap under the covers, that's not going to hurt a soul.
Maybe to make them smell better.
But the WD-40, I mean, really. That's probably not a great idea long term, or even short term, to rub that onto your skin.
Well, we have run out of time for this week, but we want to thank you all for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week when, again, send in your questions, call in with them, and we'll get them to Matt and Deborah, and hopefully get you some great answers, and maybe let us know how the soap under the pillow works. I'm kidding.
Don't use WD-40 for your joints.
You guys have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week.